Good morning, Northshore. It's Thursday, February 17th, and we're almost actually through February because next week is our midwinter break, and then we come back and it's the end of the month. So I think it's the 28th actually, because I don't think we have a 29th this year. It's not a leap year. So anyhow, I'm so excited this morning to share that our 3 ballot measures passed, and just a heartfelt, definitely heartfelt, grateful thanks to our community and the trust you have in us to deliver the outcomes that we know we share. So I want to thank our students, our staff, our citizens for Northshore community, our many parent volunteers, our PTSAs, even the cities who endorse these initiatives or listen to our presentations, our chambers of commerce, our Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, just all of the different groups that participated and supported these initiatives. They're going to continue to pay huge benefits both today and for tomorrow. And so this morning, I want to shine a spotlight on 2 of our students who benefit from these ballot measures and the trust and support you as a community have for all of us. I am thrilled to be able to introduce to you 2 of our Inglemoor Vikings, actually. First of all, we have Ishitha Arekapudi. Good morning, Ishitha. And we also, good morning. And we have Pinyu Liao. Good morning, Pinyu.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we had a chance to visit a little before we came live, but these 2 young women are ready to make change, not just in the future, but right now. And I think that's what I love about Northshore. We're such a district of doers, innovators and thinkers and groundbreaking discoverers, I guess, for lack of a better word. You may have already seen Ishitha on the local news. Ishitha, you're a 9th grader, I think, right? And this young 9th grader has done a solo flight on a glider, which is a small aircraft. And I'm not a great flyer myself. My wings are still in check. And then Pinyu, who's a junior at Inglemoor High School, has created a documentary that really captured my interest. It was a topic of antibiotic resistance and what's happening globally. And I was sharing just before we went live that our youngest son just seemed to constantly have ear infections, and we went through a lot of the pink amoxicillin. So I'm hopeful we weren't contributing to the global concern, but I am so grateful that you're both here. So I have a few questions for you, and I know our community would love to hear from you. So Ishitha, how did you decide that you wanted to learn to fly?
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, so for me, it was kind of a sequence of events of inspiration. It started when I first moved here 3 years ago from Ireland, and everybody here was talking about space travel, space exploration, and that really intrigued me because I was like, wow, there's so much I didn't know that I really want to learn about. And at that time at Northshore Middle School, we had Erica Wagner from Blue Origin come in and talk about her career. And she knew that she wanted to be in space when she was younger, and she made that a reality, and that inspired me a lot. So I started researching, well, going to space would be amazing. So how do I do that? And so I realized that aviation was a really important part of it. And so I was like, well, why don't I try it out? And so I had my first flight experience through the EAA Young Eagles program. And I knew from then on I was hooked. I mean, I knew that's what I was going to do with my life. It was perfect. And so from then on, I've continued with my glider lessons. And this February, I was able to solo.
Wow. I just, I love that because I think curiosity is such an important part of learning, right? And I just keep saying we need to stay curious a little longer. So it sounds like the winter weather prevented you from achieving your goal of completing a solo flight before your 15th birthday. But that didn't stop you, right? So what was it that kept you going on this?
So, I mean, even though there was an obstacle there, my determination, love, and passion for flying just came through. And this is something I wanted to do for a long time, so I wasn't going to let one obstacle or challenge stop me. And it was definitely worth the wait. I mean, being able to fly solo is an amazing experience. And so, yeah, I didn't want to let those challenges stop me. And I had a lot of great support from my instructor, Eric Hopp. and the other flying club members and inspiration. And so that really helped me keep on going.
Yeah, do you know, I think any type of endeavor is often a team effort, right? And our ability to work together is so important. I appreciate hearing that. So Pinyu, you're an aspiring artist and a biomedical scientist. Tell me a bit about that combination.
Yeah, of course. So for me, both art and science have been a huge part of my life. And when I was little, one of the greatest things that my family did was to encourage my love for both of these subjects. And with antibiotic resistance and many of the serious issues that we see in science and public health, like maybe with COVID as well, that we see on the news today, we don't see the information that's presented in a way that's accessible to the public. And that's something that you can definitely see if you try searching up the information about antibiotic resistance. So given the influence that my love for art has had on my life, I wanted to help bridge this gap between the communication in science by using an artistic and emotional portrayal of this important issue to show people just how devastating antibiotic resistance can truly be. So I'm really grateful for my background in art, since I think that scientific communication in a way that connects the public is really an important but overlooked part of being a scientist. And then this aspect of scientific communication is something that I love to make a change in through my projects and my work.
You know, I never even thought of that, Pinyu, but you're absolutely right. If the public who the science impacts doesn't understand the impact of the science, then there's less of an excitement about change, right? Wow. I never thought about that, but that is so true. So Pinyu, tell us a little about your documentary and why it's so important to you.
Yeah. So in 2019, one of the biggest impacts on my life happened when within 1 year, unfortunately, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my dog all passed away from a bacterial infection. So yeah.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, this really inspired me a lot because like at that time I was like going into high school, and then the tragedy of losing all of these people who were so important to me, and they were also some of the best people I knew, had such a profound impact on my life, since I couldn't understand that why out of all of the antibiotics in the world, there was nothing that the doctors and scientists could do to save them. So as I began researching into antibiotic resistance, I realized that a big reason for this was the misconceptions on part of the public that contributed to antibiotic resistance. Since, for an example, a survey by the World Health Organization found that 2/3 of the people thought that antibiotics could be used to treat viruses, while another 2/3 thought that they were safe from antibiotic resistance as long as they took their antibiotics correctly. So even among my friends and family, like many of us hadn't known about antibiotic resistance before. So I wanted to do something about that, especially since it's not an issue that's very commonly talked about among the public. And many people think that it's an issue that's just reserved for doctors and scientists. So I actually got this opportunity to make this documentary to share my thoughts about antibiotic resistance when I was selected for an internship at Foundry 10, and it's an educational organization in Seattle. So throughout the course of the summer, I was able to work with my filmmaking mentor as well as a team at the University of Washington Antimicrobial Stewardship Program to coordinate interviews with patients and physicians who had been impacted by antibiotic resistance. And our goal was to create a documentary out of an issue that just seems so cut and dry. And it really means a lot to me to have gotten to this opportunity to make this documentary, because throughout this process, it's helped me grow as a person after the deaths of the 3 family members who were really important to me, and also has given me a way to contribute to the field of global health.
Well, I just am inspired by the way you were able to take adversity and turn that into something really powerfully positive. So it's a lesson for all of us, for sure. Ishitha, you've been in the school district in the Northshore district since 6th grade, which is almost a lifetime, right? Must have been right before the pandemic started, I bet. But how have your experiences in school influenced you and your dreams?
Yeah, so the North Shore School District has really helped me a lot in so when I first moved here, the culture was so different from what I was used to, the way of speaking, the way we learned. And so my teachers really created a welcoming environment for me to be able to adapt to the culture, learn in a good way, and just being able to have good relationships with my teachers really helped me be, I guess, the best self I could be in school. And so through this, my love of aviation and space, I wanted to share that love with others by creating a group called Skyriders in middle school, and I've also now started it again in high school. And it's a club for people who are interested in aviation and space to come in and talk about their passions, their dreams, and a place that we can help them with opportunities or bringing in guest speakers from those industries to talk about their life experiences and how any tips that they have for youth who are interested in that. Um, Also, I did a National History Day project on the Mercury 13, and they were a group of women astronauts or women who wanted to become astronauts in the 1960s but couldn't because of gender inequality. And so I thought that was a really important part to showcase because sure everybody's heard of the Mercury 7, but nobody's really heard of the Mercury 13, and they fought so hard. Like all the women astronauts today are there because the Mercury 13 paved way for them. And so I really wanted to showcase that, and my project even got to nationals. And a big part of that was because of my two history teachers who really helped me and supported me during that process. And here at Inglemoor, Mr. Metcalf Lindenberger helped me meet his wife, who's an astronaut, and I got to learn a lot from her, from that industry and being able to talk to her. So all in all, like everybody in the district has really helped me grow and become a better person and help me achieve my dreams.
Wow. Well, thanks, Ishitha. What about you, Pinyu? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so, well, I actually learned about the internship at Foundry 10 from my school, so that's definitely a big one for my project. But more than that, a big part of my personal story was that before I moved here in 6th grade, I changed schools a lot and moved all across the country from California to Texas to Washington.
Wow.
So I've definitely experienced a lot of different school districts. But throughout all of this, the best school district has definitely been Northshore because Inglemoor. Yeah, Inglemoor has just such a wonderful and supportive community, especially like my science teacher, like Miss Stewart, who have been incredible in supporting my dreams in pursuing science. And since I'm also very involved in my school community, since I'm also the class president of the class of 2023, I know that Northshore is very willing to take in student ideas and help support us in whatever we want to make a change in. Since like, in fact, I recently was able to form an equity committee with the administration at my school and a small group of students. So within that group, we proposed the idea of having a racism reporting tool, and we're now getting this brought up to be implemented district-wide. So it's so incredible that the actions from students are actually like getting taken in by the district and then being implemented. So yeah, I truly do appreciate how Inglemoor and the district have withstood me sending in event requests, new fundraising ideas that they have to approve like pretty much every week for class office. But I hope you guys never get sick of it because my experiences at Inglemoor have been so valuable in helping me realize that I could actually use my identity and my story to make a difference in our community.
Yeah, well, that's fabulous, Pinyu. I think our student ideas, honestly, are some of our best. And it's not lost on me that Inglemoor High School had one of our groundbreaking women principals in the state of Washington, Vicki Sherwood, for many years. Just really indebted to her for her leadership and how many young women she inspired, right, to go into education or leadership. So we always prepare that path to provide the next generation to stand on our shoulders. So your work, I think, and your legacy is just going to live on way past today. Ishitha, you're continuing to push for more girls to learn to fly. Why is that?
So aviation is really the next big frontier. I mean, we see that with flying cars and like more commercial planes. And so because of the gender equality or inequality that's happened before, not many women were encouraged to go into aviation. So now there's not a lot of women who are in that industry. But so many girls and youth who have passions to pursue these don't do that because of those misconceptions. And so if they do have that passion, I think it's really important that they become part of that industry, because honestly, they deserve it for doing that change. And it should be a welcoming environment for everybody, regardless of gender, regardless of anything else.
Right.
And another part of that is in Mercury 13, as I was talking about. They really inspired me, because the reason I want to become an astronaut is because of everything that they and other women who have done before to pave that way for me. And so they inspired me so much in becoming an astronaut and knowing that I can do it. And I want to help others feel like that, because the industry is amazing, and people who are interested should definitely become part of it. So I hope to be able to help people and encourage them to do that. And so I guess that's another reason why I started Skyriders, to help youth and girls like me start in that career at a young age, because it gives you more of a leverage.
Yeah, that seems really impressive to me. I did want to go back to Ishitha. Where are they flying cars? Let me just clarify that.
So it's kind of in different places in the world. They're not all of them are approved yet, but some of them are undergoing testing, and some of them are undergoing tested in the United States too.
Okay, well, it kind of feels like the Jetsons, and maybe you guys don't know what the Jetsons is. It was a show a long time ago, but so you think someday I may fly to work?
It's very much possible. I mean, they just have to get through tests and like make sure it's safe. But yeah, I think that would be very much possible.
You know, I really struggled with parallel parking in my driver's test, so I don't know if I can parallel park a flying car, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity. So a question for both of you. What is your ultimate dream? And Ishitha, why don't you go first, and then Pinyu?
So my ultimate dream is to become a Mars astronaut. Ever since I've loved space, I've always loved the idea of going to Mars, because it's the closest planet to us that we can actually go to. Like Venus, it's way too warm, so that would kind of be a hard thing to do. But Mars is more realistic, and just being able to go there and exploring the possibility of life in the past, because there's strong evidence that there used to be water on Mars, and that is just so amazing that there could be other life within our solar system, even if it was in the past. And so, adding to that, I also want to become an astrobiologist, because alien life in space has always been my passion. I mean, it's amazing to think that there could be other life, because, in my opinion, there is. I mean, the universe is so big, and to be the only planet with life is not that realistic, and there could be so many more universes. So just having that has always been interesting to me, and that's my goal. I've also wanted, like, all of my role models have inspired me and helped me so much, and I hope that I can do that for somebody else, to help them get on the path, or just to even encourage them to do what they want to do in life. And well, that's my like long-term goals, but my shorter-term goals are to get my glider's license this year in December when I turn 16, because that's the youngest age. And then next year, get my power plane license, which is like a small aircraft, but it does have an engine, on my 17th birthday. And I'm hoping to become an astronaut and astrobiologist at NASA, and go to Stanford, MIT, and yeah, so those are kind of my big goals.
Wow. Well, those are some powerful goals. So I love hearing about the large universe, and it does statistically seem improbable, right? That life doesn't exist somewhere else. But what an interesting question. Pinyu, what about your ultimate dream? Hopefully, maybe you're going to stay on Earth with us a little longer.
Well, yeah, I definitely do have that plan. So I have to say, Ishita, like I really agree with what you said about the observing the astrobiology on Mars. I think that would be, it's super interesting to learn, like maybe there could be life outside of Earth. But yeah, so for me, my dream for the future has been shaped by my experiences at Inglemoor, as well as this experience with my documentary, which my goal for the future is to, or the far future is to start a nonprofit research organization that's dedicated to researching diseases that don't receive enough funding or attention from the pharmaceutical industry. Since a sad truth that I realized from researching antibiotic resistance was that the diseases that decidedly get treatments developed are the ones that make the most money and can get the most funding, which unfortunately antibiotic resistance is not one of them. So it's currently a dying industry for antibiotic development. So that means that many diseases are neglected by the pharmaceutical industry with no funding for scientists. And it's just incredibly sad when the lives of people are tied to capitalism. So that's why in the future, I want to find a way to give scientists the opportunity to make a difference in finding treatments for diseases that aren't profitable and aren't getting researched as they should. And of course, since I'm on a show for the school district, another goal with my future organization is to implement more laboratory research and project-based learning programs in school, since being able to apply the knowledge that you learn in school into something that has a deep personal meaning to you through a hands-on project is just really different. And it's something that I've had the opportunity to do with my documentary. So just so you know, in case you're in need of any ideas about what to do with the new funding that the district receives, I have plenty of ideas.
Well, I think we might, you're kind of giving me an idea, Pinyu. Maybe we need to, I have a student board, but maybe we need to convene sort of a student think tank around sort of our learning model. So I know we discussed curriculum at our last student board meeting. So it might be time to widen that conversation a little bit. I will make a note of that to make sure you're included, because there's nothing more important than the education right now, to be quite honest, if we're going to address these big issues. Pinyu, you've taken a real world, wait, let me back that up a little bit. Ishitha, what advice do you have for young women who may not think that the dream they have is achievable, or who run into barriers or roadblocks? What would your advice be?
So I'd say my biggest piece of advice for that is never give up. Sometimes a lot of obstacles will come and go, but they're going to overwhelm you at times and they're going to seem like maybe they're too hard. But the most important thing is overcoming them, because you want to look back and be proud of yourself for overcoming them and achieving your dream. And so just never give up. And a way you can do this is working backwards from your dreams and setting goals along the way. Like, I want to get my license when I'm 16. And so what do I need to do for that? What are my deadlines? And working backwards from there can really help achieve those goals. And you just also need to believe that you can do it. Like, believe in yourself, stay focused on your dream, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to. So you need to show people that you can believe in yourself and stay motivated. And so those are my most important pieces of advice. And I think just that it's really important for people to be able to pursue their dreams and have like an open and encouraging environment like I've had. So I really hope that I can maybe create that for people too, or they're able to access that kind of help too.
Yeah, thank you. So important about believing in ourselves, particularly at this time when there's so many things uncertain, right? So Pinyu, you've taken a real world problem and you plan to help find a solution to that. What advice do you have for other students your age and even younger as they consider how they might give back to the world or change practices that really need to be changed?
Yeah, so throughout a lot of the projects that I've done, I've had a lot of time to reflect. And honestly, I think that I've changed so much throughout high school. And in fact, when I began high school, I was incredibly shy and pretty withdrawn from my community. And the only reason why I was able to begin to be brave and do all of the things that I've been able to do in class office and in my documentary was because I had a deep personal tragedy. And in processing their deaths, I took inspiration from something that had such a huge impact on my life and then just turned it into an action. So I never would have thought that I would be able to do all of the things I've done today. So for the other students, I'd say just take the first step, whatever it is, just something that genuinely means a lot to you. And even if you don't think that you can do it, you can just take the first step, like apply to it, reach out to someone, reach out to Northshore News, or and if it's something that truly means a lot to you, then you'll be able to do much more than you ever expected. And I hope that every student knows that their experiences matter. And even though their lives and their circumstances may not have been perfect, like for me, it was with my grandparents and my dog, and with me moving a lot when I was younger, these experiences are unique and something that they can bring to the table when making a difference in the world.
Yeah, I think that's so true. We talk about so many types of diversity, but diversity of experiences, lived experiences, and bring such a richness to the conversation. And it's why we need so many perspectives at the table, right? as we make decisions. You two young women are so wise. I'm gonna have to scamper out to Inglemoor to visit with you in person. I want to thank both of you, Pinyu and Ishitha, for being here this morning. You've inspired me, and hopefully you'll inspire others in the community. I also want to remind our community that we do have midwinter break coming up. So we're going to be, unfortunately, we're going to be away from school for a week. But do take that time and find some time to relax, reconnect with yourself and others, and maybe get outdoors and do something fun. But remember to be safe and follow health protocols. I look forward to seeing you after the midwinter break, where we're going to enter March, which is March comes in like a lion and out like a lamb. So we may have some storms, I don't know, in early March, but looking forward to seeing you. And thank you for joining us this morning. Look forward to seeing you in the coming weeks. Thank you.